Last episode, I spent the morning in Craters of the Moon National Monument before heading east into Wyoming and trying to get into the Tetons, but the place was on fire just like the rest of the West. So I wound up camping and exploring in the Bridger National Forest, which was incredible. Miles and miles of roads and beautiful woodlands, rolling hills, and fantastic mountaintops that I explored. Mountain Bridger National Forest, just south of the Tetons and the Teton National Forest. I tried to get up in the Tetons yesterday. It's just too much smoke. The road to Yellowstone was closed, so I decided rather than drive all over creation and try to get in past a place that I don't want to be anyway, I just keep going south. So now I'm in Bridger, and as you can see behind me, there's a group of horses. I thought this was my wild Mustangs. And I just passed a bunch of horse trailers, so I should have known that these were just grazing domestic horses and not Mustangs. I'm not sure I'd know a wild Mustang if I saw one. I just never seen horses grazing in open land like this. I mean, I've seen lots of cattle on public land, but I've never seen horses. And I started walking towards them, and then I realized they had harnesses on. One of them had a big freaking bell on, and anyway. So I will keep searching for my wild Mustangs. I'll probably have to ride much further distance than this, and I'm just off the road here. But it's beautiful out here. There's some smoke, but there's a whole lot more clouds than smoke now, so I'm easily distracted by the clouds. And I can see, I think it's probably 10-15 mile easily visibility rather than 1 mile where I came from, which I just got tired of that. I couldn't breathe, my eyes were burning. And I've got aspens here. They're all over the place, and if you know me, you know how much I love aspens. Anyway, I think we're probably around 6,000, 7,000 feet, maybe higher. It's cold up here. I'm gonna have to put a jacket on, I think, and keep riding. I'm going to a town called Alpine. I'm gonna circle around this dirt road, go back north to Alpine, and then I'm gonna do a big loop, probably maybe 200-mile loop today. We'll see. It's beautiful out here. I could probably ride this all day, especially with all the wildlife out here. I ran into several herds of sheep on the road on my 150-mile tour. This one was guarded by 2 serious sheepdogs. They were all business. Wow, sure would like to have a house up here. This is just stunning. And this is 9,000 feet, and it's got to be 60 degrees up here. I saw a deer and I had to get off, see if I could get a better shot, but by the time I got off, he bolted. By the time I finished my tour and got back to camp, I had been rained on a couple of times already. Not too bad, but when I got back to camp, it was snowing, sleeting, and hailing. It was pretty rough, and it got really cold. It was 41 at 3 o'clock. The next morning, I woke up to a crisp 34 degrees, and this odd evaporation steam coming out of the woods early morning reminded me of all the smoke that I'd been seeing for the past few weeks. Very odd. I had to pull the camera out and record it. I guess you had to be there. After exploring the beautiful trails and hills of Bridger, I packed up the next morning and moved south. I'm at Fossil Butte in southern Wyoming. This used to be a very deep lake. In fact, where I'm standing now was probably 600 feet underwater. So this was basically the lake bottom. And all this down here has eroded. And I'm standing just under 8,000 feet in altitude. So if you think about that, that's this is a lake bottom that I'm standing on that was 600 feet underwater 50 million years ago. But they've been digging up fossils here for over 100 years, and very beautiful fossils. Apparently they were very well preserved because the bottom of the lake was very salty saline, so it preserved the decomposing bodies. Of course, it's a monument, so I can't go fossil hunting. I'm not even sure where to look. I've kind of got some ideas of where the layers are, and believe it or not, more of the lake is back here. Apparently it's on BLM land, so maybe that may be in the future where I go south. There's a huge plot of land out there south of here that's exposed lake bed, and I may actually go digging out there and see if I can find some fossils. Man, just have one of those beautiful fossils that they've dug up. It's like a very light tan limestone that's layered, and you chip the layers up and it's a dark brown, sometimes black fossil. I did not get to see any fossils outside the visitor center, but I did get to see a pronghorn mama and her 2 kids. And I think I may have been just a little bit too close, or maybe they weren't used to seeing such a large, ugly bus in the wild, especially up on top of the butte. I don't think very many buses make it up top. That was a very steep and winding, narrow hill. After my day of hanging out on top of Fossil Butte, watching the wildlife and looking at fossils in the visitor center, decided it was time to head south and headed into southern Wyoming, into the desert, and landed on top of another butte called Church Butte in the desert of southern Wyoming. And of course they had wildlife too, and there's a herd of pronghorn coming up the crest of the hill here. And every evening I was there, I was visited by several herds of pronghorn that galloped across this landscape, and it was beautiful up there. So join me next time in the desert of southern Wyoming.